You're listening to the Truth Unknown podcast. Tune in every week for all your favorite thought-provoking subjects. And remember to click that subscribe button.
This is a Ouija board. Now, Ed, can you tell me what this is and what it does?
Well, this is a game, but it's a dangerous game. People don't realize it, but they are communicating with another world that's invisible, intangible, a very dangerous world. I have never known anything good to come out of a Ouija board.
Hi guys, and welcome back. This is the second episode of Truth Unknown. I hope you enjoyed the last one. We did go down a few rabbit holes, we did go off track, but who cares? We enjoyed it. I hope you did too.
Yeah, we've got something a little different for you guys today. So last time we was talking about the Gary McKinnon case, which is UFO related. Today we're going to go down the paranormal route, and we're going to talk to you guys about Ouija boards.
Creepy stuff, or at least I think it is. I am not convinced it works because I have one and I have tried it, but I am not sure it works when I'm on my own. And I don't know if that's down to the energy that people say that you're meant to have, more people for the energy. I don't know. I am going to keep trying. But what's your thoughts?
Also as well, does it matter about the board? Like,
no.
Does any board
How
work?
does it matter about the board? Because you see people play it with pen and paper and a cup.
Get good results.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah, exactly. I like to think that they work because I'm like a big believer in the paranormal and stuff, and I just think that if everyone's lying about these Ouija boards not working, then that will really put like a taint on the paranormal. So I hope they do work.
I 100% believe in the paranormal, and we are going to get onto this at some stage because we have experienced this in our old house when we was growing up.
Yeah.
So I think this is something we are going to explore because it is an amazing story to tell.
Yeah, it definitely is. And there is so many different things that people say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, make sure you've got the right lighting, make sure you have more than one person, be in this place at that time. And yeah, there's so many different things that go into making a Ouija board work that, you guys have probably had your own experiences out there, and we would love to hear them. So,
do you doubt that the work?
I don't know, like, how has this become such a big thing? If they don't work, why are they now like a worldwide phenomenon? This is the best running lie ever.
Yeah, that is true, isn't it? It's been going like from 1890s.
Yeah, and so I think there must be some true. Or what happens then? This is a bit of a curveball. What happens if somebody did a Ouija board and it was nothing to do with the board? It was just that they was doing it in an already haunted house, and that spirit reacted with the board. And so everyone else thinks, oh, we can do it with the board, it's the board. But it's not the board, it's just that those people had that experience in an actually haunted...
Now that is what I call an alternative theory.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I never thought of it like that. But there is there is scientific proof that people are doing this themselves.
Is there scientific proof?
Maybe not scientific proof. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah,
but there
I know
is scientists and skeptics out there that say this is all to do with the mind.
Yeah, there's been programs. I mean, was it Darren Brown?
Yeah, but he's
Darren Brown looked into it and did like a whole TV series, which give it all a really bad look.
That's where the story just falls apart in it. Really, a TV series. He had a motive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that you can make anything turn out the way you want it to turn out. I mean, like, I can make a video and it can be spanned one way. You could make the same video and give it a completely different look. So yeah, I hope they work. I hope Ouija boards work. And like I said, I am fascinated to see what you guys send in, because I hear so many stories of these things working, and I've seen so many things on YouTube where it looks creepy as hell.
And this is the problem, look, you look on YouTube and everyone has experience with it.
Yeah.
Like, everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody sits there saying, sorry guys, it didn't work. You know what I mean? It moves.
Yeah, that is a good point.
But are they just muddying the water? Is it not working and they're just like, look at me guys, whoa, this is creepy?
Yeah. Who is that guy that you listen to, Huff Paranormal?
Yeah, he does like spirit boxes and stuff.
Yeah, and what's the reaction that he's getting? Do people believe that he's genuine, or...?
Well, it has a big following, so I presume people believe
But again, though, it goes back to like what you said. You never see a YouTube channel of people doing Ouija board videos.
Yeah, like imagine it, a 30-minute video. Sorry guys, it didn't work, mate, I'm off to bed now. Thanks for your time.
Exactly. So yeah, it would be interesting to see the failure rate on these things, but I think there's got to be some truth to it. I think there has to be.
What gets me is how. The how and the
Yeah,
whys.
let's explore that. Let's explore for a minute that it does work and it's genuine, right? So for that to be the case, what we're accepting is that there's another dimension somewhere of people walking around that are still conscious. And they've got to be conscious because you're asking them to come through and they do. It's
and
not
you're
like
asking them to spell stuff out.
yeah, like how is that possible? How is it possible that there's another dimension living amongst us with conscious beings that we can't see, willing to do what you ask on a board with letters and numbers? It's really weird to get that.
It is, but I've got stubborn spirits in my house because I've tried and tried and tried.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So if
yeah.
all these people are dying around us, yeah, over hundreds and thousands of years,
Yeah.
and I'm asking one spirit to hit my Ouija board,
Yeah,
it's not fucking about.
yeah, exactly.
Move the planchette.
Yeah, but then are we expecting too much? Like maybe that's a factor. Maybe if you go in there with too...
Maybe it's a thought process, but then that leads us to our own consciousness and our own thoughts moving it. We're doing what we want it to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know
So
what I mean?
again, we're at that stumbling block of, was that our subconscious saying what we wanted it to say?
Yeah.
And like I said, there's going to be people screaming at the phone right now and at the radio because they're going to be like, no, it wasn't me. I didn't push that. And I hope that you
You need
didn't.
a planchette, not a fucking apple.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but it's the whys, like you said. Let's explore it because it is the whys and the hows. How does it work, and why does it work? What is happening?
Yeah. And are these people that you're contacting once, like, are they deceased people? Exactly. For example, is what I'm trying to say. Were these people that were once living on Earth, and then all of a sudden now they've passed away into this other realm, and they're able to contact their loved ones? And is that how it works, or is this just some? I don't know what this is. I mean, we've both had experiences with the paranormal.
Yeah, but
What
it's
are we-
unexplainable. and
What
it's like-
are we saying is going on? Like, where is that person? This person's in our house moving stuff around.
Well, they say, don't they? They say when you die, some pass over. Where to, I don't know.
Yeah.
And others are trapped in a realm of their own or within our world, but as a spirit.
And is that where we're going? Does that mean that heaven and
You
hell?
won't, you're fucking off to hell.
Yeah. Does that mean that heaven and hell exists? Who knows? It just opens up a whole can of worms and takes you down so many different avenues.
But then when you think about to our own experiences, that was something that could physically move things.
Yeah.
Therefore, that spirit didn't pass over. That is trapped in
Yeah.
our world
Somewhere.
somewhere.
And where do they go when the conversation ends? Like, so once the session's over, where does this spirit go back to? Just doing what they were doing before? And what was that? What was they doing?
Walking amongst us.
Yeah, like, so they're interacting, right? So hang on, I'm doing this Ouija board, and now stuff's starting to move in this room by something that's not in this room, or maybe it is, but I can't see it. So does that mean that when I finish this session and that spirit goes back to its normal day life or whatever it was that it was doing before, right?
Or is it
Hang on.
somewhere else and you're calling it to come
No,
through?
hang on. Does that mean, right? No, it must be in this room. Because we've just said that it's moving things in this room. And if it was... So what I'm saying
Yeah,
is...
it's not like they're listening out for you, is it?
So what I'm saying is when I finish this session and I go off do whatever I was doing, I go back to work, this spirit has got to go somewhere. Does he go back to doing what he was doing? And does that mean, because he's just moved the cup in my room, that whatever it is he was doing is the same room here? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not going off to another world that I can't see. He's in this room.
He's
because
already here.
He's in this room and his layout must be the same as mine. So he must be able to see my TV, my sofa and everything else because he's just interacting with it. So, like, what's he doing? I don't... It's really...
But is it not that you're asking for a spirit?
Yeah,
Like,
but-
it doesn't mean it's walking amongst us now. You're asking for a spirit
But
to
I'm
come.
going to the core of this problem. Even if you're asking for a spirit, where are they? Is there a big accumulation of these people just in what? Where are they? Where are these spirits before we call for them? What are they doing?
And that's the unknowns, isn't it? That's what we can't explain.
And how do they hear the call? So we ask a
It's
question.
apparently the board.
Yeah, but we ask a question. Is there
Because
any,
if you didn't have that board,
yeah,
and you said spirits come out,
Yeah.
communicate, you wouldn't get anybody communicating. Yet these guys I see on YouTube all day long.
so what,
they're
you're-
using a
so-
board
so-
and
so
it's
hang on,
just-
so you're saying it doesn't work?
No, what I'm saying is, do they need the board for it to work? Because if they're here, like you're saying,
Yeah,
why can't you just not use the board
and speak openly.
and just go, hey mate,
Yeah.
any spirits here? Fancy a brew?
Well, maybe they can't talk. I mean, like, there's very few cases, the Enfield poltergeist being one, where spirits have been known to talk. So maybe they find it for whatever reason. We don't know.
But they don't have to talk.
No, but they have to move. They have to communicate.
Yeah, if you said,
so that's why you need the board.
Right, there's this cup on side, spirit, move the cup.
Yeah.
How long would you have to stand there for a spirit to come and move the cup? But yet you get that Ouija board and you put a glass on it or a planchette and say move it.
Yeah.
A lot of these people within half an hour,
I've had an experience.
They're moving the cup.
Yeah.
So is it the board?
That's a tricky one. That's a good point. I don't know, because, like you said, without the board, you could stand in the kitchen and say, right, spirit, move this glass, and nothing might happen. But the minute you get bored and say, can you move something, it might move that glass.
Yeah.
So maybe it is more the board.
It's leaning towards that, isn't it?
But again, we come back to that, we come full circle as to, it might be the board, but the board is summoning people from some unknown realm, like the spirit world. Like, people say that just so loosely. Oh, the spirit world. Where is the spirit world?
Yeah, like a visit.
People say, oh yeah, no, they've come from the spirit world. Well, where is this? Like, is there a front, like a door? Like, do certain people get accepted and certain people don't? Is that heaven? Like, it's just, I don't know. So many things surrounding Ouija boards get said loosely, and no one questions it. We just take it as, oh yeah, no, I get it, the spirit world.
Yeah, but there's so much fear about it as well.
Yeah, and I'm sat here now and I'm probably coming across like I'm a disbeliever, but I'm not. I actually do believe they work, and I am to some extent quite scared of them.
I am. I'm petrified of it.
Yeah.
But the reason I want to do it is because, one, I've had my own experiences. I believe there is something out there, a spirit world or something that can communicate with us, and I see other people doing it, and I just want to. It's like one of the things, right? You don't believe in something, or a lot of people don't believe in something until they see it.
Yeah.
I'm like that with the Ouija board. I believe in spirits all day long, but do I believe in the Ouija board? I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. And we have.
I want to believe.
We've had that same problem and that same conversation with extraterrestrials and UFOs. Remember, we said like, oh well, if you believe in, once you've had an experience with the paranormal, how can you then
not believe? Turn
your nose up to something like extraterrestrials, and vice versa, Bigfoot. Where does it stop? But
people do, and that's why I find so strange that you can believe in one thing, but not another.
Yeah.
But if that's unexplainable, and you believe in the paranormal, and the UFOs, but extraterrestrials unexplainable, but you don't believe in that.
Yeah, and it gets embarrassing though as well, because people have had experience with the paranormal. Like, I've experienced things in my life that I know 100% were unexplainable by science at this present time. Like, I'm not saying that science can't explain what it was, but for me, it was definitely a ghost, a spirit from somewhere else that was in that room with me from a dimension that I don't know of.
Yeah.
100%. There's no other explaining it. It wasn't Carlites, it wasn't some normal natural phenomena. What I experienced was 100% from a spirit world.
Is it safe? I'm not, is it safe? Because I was living there with you, but a lot of other people had experience as well.
But what I was going to say is why it becomes embarrassing though, is because we've just said, like, if you believe in the paranormal, then you can't really stop and say, oh, I don't believe in UFOs. So therefore you have to believe in UFOs, you have to believe in Bigfoot. And some people will say, well, do you believe in fairies then? And at that point, I'm like, well, okay, maybe not. And so then it contradicts what I'm trying to say. It contradicts what I'm trying to say. So it is a really,
where do you draw the line?
Yeah. Because like we've just said, you can go on forever saying, yeah, I believe that, because anything could be possible. And then when someone comes forward and says, well, all right, so you believe in fairies and unicorns.
But anything is possible.
Fairies and unicorns? Really?
Nah.
Well, it could be. People do say that they see these things. Like this.
Maybe it's just because my mind can't comprehend.
Exactly, but we couldn't comprehend the paranormal, and it happened. So, yeah. Going back on to the Ouija boards, like, these do date back for centuries.
Well, yeah,
hundreds and hundreds of years. This isn't like
first appeared in stores in 1890s, a mark of a 19th century American obsession with spiritualism. Yeah. So back then, everybody was into spiritualism. And they made a board. It just went global.
Yeah.
It was a massive hit.
Exactly, but it must. I mean, come on. If you go to Toys R Us today and you buy a board claiming to be able to contact spirits, right? If it doesn't work,
that's what I get, right?
People
but if
would
it does,
not buy it.
If it does work, why is it in Toys R Us?
No, this is what I'm saying. So it's a double-edged sword. Because what I'm saying is, if you go to Toys R Us and you pick up this board that claims that you can speak to spirits, right? If that board doesn't work, no one's going to go back and keep buying it. It's just a board then. All you've got then is just a board. And that's a waste of money to anyone.
Yeah.
So it must have worked for it to be a global success.
Or a good marketing ploy. Very good.
But a good marketing ploy can only get you so far. Like, that'll get people in the shop. But once they're out of the shop with the board at home, they aren't going to keep saying, oh yeah, it worked because this marketing ploy. If it don't work, it doesn't work. And all you're left with is a piece of wood.
No, that's so true.
But yet, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people carried on to keep buying them. So that's what I'm saying. To me, something was happening.
The Christian Catholic Church and all that,
Yeah.
they are so against it. Why? And there's even a paragraph, 2116, says it forbids the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Why? Because there must be some truth to it.
Yeah.
Because Christians, noble, don't lie.
Yeah.
Why would it be in the Bible? Why would it be?
Exactly. So maybe it's because it's digging up things that we are supposed to experience.
And it's got a lot of people into trouble, the Ouija board, because a lot of people commit murders over it. They always say the Ouija board told me.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a Ouija board getting anybody out of jail.
Yeah. And the scary thing for me, why I've never done a Ouija board, is because you hear these stories where people claim to have contacted a deceased loved one only months down the line when they're completely hooked and they crave this company and this communication with this supposed loved one. Do they discover it's actually a demonic being pretending to be
Not telling the truth.
And I think that's really scary because you could, I mean, if they are in the spirit world, they've got access to knowledge. So they'll know what your deceased dad would talk to you like and what experiences you had with him and all these other things. So he could literally pretend to be your dad and then all of a sudden start asking you to do the most god-awful things, self-harm and all these other things that people do, right? Just to find out that it wasn't your dad at all. That's a very scary thing to get involved with, I think.
Yeah. I know a bit of a story, or one that got told to me, and it was an ex-partner, their nana, grandma. She does Ouija boards all the time.
Yeah.
And she records them. And the next door neighbour got burgled, yeah? So some thieves came into their house, they took loads of jewellery, they did a Ouija board. This Ouija board was spelling out this name and the number. They didn't know at the time what it meant.
Yeah.
The police were called to this burglary, and the number was the number of the house.
Next door's house.
Yeah, it was spelling out garden, bin, etc. And they found the jewellery in the wheeler bin at the back of the garden.
See, that's what I mean. Like, how is that even possible?
And
so this Ouija board basically told this poor lady where her jewellery was.
Yeah, and I need to say the person that got burgled wasn't doing the Ouija board. She had no control over that planchette.
So hang on. So the old lady who was burgled didn't know that this session with the Ouija board was going on next door.
No, I didn't have a clue.
And yet it helped find her missing jewellery.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. Because like that.
So that is just mind-boggling when you think about that.
Yeah, because how did it?
And then I'm sure my dad, he mentioned about a World War II rocket that hit our nana, yeah?
V2 rocket, that's right.
And then they did a Ouija board, and it wrote out this number again.
Serial number.
And it was a serial number. Do you remember getting told that?
So basically, cut long story short, my nana, that's my dad's mum, she was bombed during the Second World War. She worked in a munitions factory, making bullets, shells for bombs, etc. And a V2 rocket came right through the roof, and she was trapped. I think her friend actually died trying to save her in that incident. And years later, this is many years later, my dad bought her a book in memory of like World War II, and it had lots of these key places in York, in the UK, surrounding areas that were hit and targeted. And lo and behold, the factory where Nana worked was in this book, and the rocket that went through the roof had a serial number written down. And I think that my dad says years later they did a Ouija board, and this number came out, the exact serial number of the V2 rocket that came through the factory. So
it's crazy.
How are they able to do that? Like, again, I mean, that, all right, so we've just said, is it someone pushing the planchette? But who would have, like, the audacity to, like, remember a 15, 18 number serial? Do you know what I mean? From a V2 rocket in World War II, no one around that Ouija board's going to remember that.
No.
You're not going to be sat there thinking, all right, I'll tell you what would be funny. I'll spell out the 18-digit serial number from the V2 rocket. Yeah. No one's going to do that. So, but it happened. And
that's what I mean. If that's happening, and then the story that I've just told's happening, there must be some truth to this. And that's what scares me more about doing the Ouija board on my own, because there's always the possibility.
What is your number one fear of a Ouija board?
It working.
Yeah, I suppose that is obviously the obvious, but mine would be possession. Like, you hear people getting addicted to these beings. They have to talk to them every day on the lunch break at work.
Well, a lot of people do get depressed and it just takes over their life.
Yeah, because they always start friendly. No demonic presence is ever going to say, right, I'm here to screw up your life. They always start really nice, and maybe they do things for you, or they give you inside information that helps you, and then it develops over a period of months, and then they have you, because this once nice being isn't who they said they were. So that's what terrifies me, is possession.
Possession, obviously that scares the shit out of me, but it working equally is enjoyable, but equally is terrifying if it does, because I wouldn't know what question to ask next.
It would be interesting though as well, to find out if Ouija boards have ever been used for government purposes, like to help the police in crimes. Because
I know in the past they've had psychics, this and other.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But then if they've had psychics, that's them believing there's a spirit world that is connecting somebody to give information to.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, why can a Ouija board not work?
That's what I'm saying. So they've had like people help solve crimes that can like what's the word? Astral project. Now that's a really fringe phenomenon in itself, is astral projection. But yet the police force and other people around of that sort have used these people to solve crimes, but they've never brought a Ouija board in and said, right, let's solve this. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's really strange, isn't it? It's weird to think,
but I still believe it works.
Yeah, I do. And
deep down I believe it works, and I don't know why that is.
I just don't believe it works for everyone. I believe Ouija boards work under the correct conditions and with the right people at the right time. I think everything has to be pretty much bang on. I don't think you can just go out, make your own board, sit there on your own and it work. Or maybe you can.
But you can, because not how many times you've seen it, you've probably not seen it at all, but there is people that draw it out on a bit of paper or a stone with chalk, and they're playing it.
And it works.
And it works.
Another thing, right, that's quite confusing is when you ask a question on this board, like, is there just a long line of dead spirits waiting to take the call? How do they hear it? When I'm sat there and I'm saying, if there's anybody here, please make your presence known, does that ring out through the universe and all these? Because you think of all the generations of dead people, Romans, Vikings, and all that. But there's millions of dead people.
There must be millions and millions of people walking amongst us.
That's what I'm saying. So how does any of those people just hear my call out for a spirit? Like, I'm sat there and I'm saying, if there's anyone here now, please make your presence known. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, someone pops up and goes, I'm here. Like, where did he come from? Like, why did he get first in line? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what gets me, is that I build up this idea in my head that there's a spirit world, and I can kind of get on board with that, but then it comes to a dead end because you're thinking, well,
where have you come from,
how
mate?
big is this spirit world?
Yeah.
And does that mean that we've got people like Napoleon interacting with Hitler? Two completely different time periods, and do you know what I mean? Like, are they allowed to just roam freely amongst all these different eras? It's weird, isn't it? It's weird to think about.
It's deep as well, because like, where does it end?
That's it.
You know, and it's like you say, a Roman's now talking to Vikings, Vikings talking to us.
Yeah.
His little George.
Because even that in itself, how would they have a conversation? They lived in two different time periods. You can't have a Roman talking to someone who died last week about a mobile phone. They would have no idea what you're on
Imagine
about.
it.
That's what I mean. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have this idea of a spirit world, that's great. I get that there's a spirit world where spirits go live, but do they just have complete free reign where you can go through? Because everyone dies at different time periods.
Yeah. But another thing as well, they're intelligent. I mean, I'm not going to go into our story now because that is for another episode, but I have heard, and my dad's heard, our name whispered in our ear.
Yeah.
So it's intelligent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that brings me back to the fact that they're consciously aware of the here and now. It doesn't matter if you get into contact with someone who died in the 1800s. If you say, ring my mobile phone, in some cases they're able to do that. Now, how do they know what a mobile phone is? If you say, move this glass on this table, right, that means that they're consciously aware of their surroundings in the here and now. So that must mean that they're in this room seeing what I see.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. And then we think like, well, they're in a spirit world. Well, which one is it? You can't have best of both worlds, is he in this imaginary spirit world where I'm assuming everything looks completely different, or is he in the here and now with me?
The here and now with you.
Okay, so then where did he come from? When I called him and I summoned him from the spirit world, if he's here with me now, where's he come from?
And that's the question that we cannot answer. But that is what scares me more than anything.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, if they are in the here and now, oh my God.
Well, this house should be brilliant.
We are making this podcast now, and little Terry over there who died in car crash up road is sat watching us.
Yeah, and not only that, Napoleon.
By the way, Terry didn't die in a car crash.
No. But, well, you don't know that.
Terry?
Yeah, exactly. But this house, then, technically, should be brimming with activity.
Yeah, it should be.
Not should be, it would be, wouldn't it? Think about it.
Well, yeah, it would be. If they're in the here and now.
But yeah, we do a board, and like you said, you've tried it many times with no response. And yet someone in the middle of nowhere can do a board, and they get all the activity in the world happening, so...
Yeah, it's a mystery. I want to know what the listeners' thoughts are on this one.
Yeah.
Please jump on our Facebook page. It's not very active now because we are a new podcast, but you can change all that.
Yeah.
Jump over there. Let us know what you think about the Ouija board because it does fascinate me. And if we are doing it wrong or there's some tips you can give us, let us know because we want to give this a go.
And like I said at the start...
You've not done it, have you? And I'm trying to convince you.
No.
So will you do it now? Not now.
Not right now.
No, not right now.
No. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a go. But I want to research it, obviously, before we dive into that, because I want to know what I'm getting myself into. I know the horror stories of it, people's bad experiences, so I want to make sure that I've got every angle covered to protect myself for when we do it. But yeah, I would entertain that, doing one. But I'm just super excited and looking forward to hearing what you guys have experienced, because Ouija board stories always fascinate me. Whether I believe it or I don't, hearing someone else's story of what happened to them, for example, the one with that missing jewelry that you just said, that blows my mind, so I'm super excited.
And I suppose if they do work, there's many stories out there like that.
Yeah.
And I suppose the guys that are going to be listening to this show will have similar stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Gaz just said there, this is only episode 2, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it so far. We will get better, won't we? So.
We will get better, and these are just generic chats.
Yeah, that's
just
it.
A chat, a bit of laugh,
In
a bit
fact,
of banter.
we freestyled this one. Like we've got a few bullet points, a few talking points that we wanted to discuss, but this was kind of just like, we're into Ouija boards, we're into the paranormal, let's get on the mic and talk about this. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this.
But I think this will be the end of the show for this week. Like I say, every Sunday we'll be dropping one for you. So next one, we aren't going to tell you what it is. We don't even know ourselves. We are wingers.
Yeah, and we'll think of something worth talking about with lots of different talking points as well. So I'll see you guys back on the next one.
Bye for now.